This is Scott with Cutter and Cutter Fine Art, and I'm going to cover Charles Lotton lamps, how to disassemble and assemble one, just the shade, and two, the bulbs that are inside the lamp, the interior bulbs, how to change those should one burn out. Alright, so disassembly, you're going to take the finial and unscrew. Now when you put this back together, you do not want to screw too tight. As it is glass, if you over tighten it, you will break the glass. So it's just hand tight. Remove the finial. Okay, then we're going to remove the shade. Be very careful when you're picking the shade up, as you don't want the glass to hit the rod, because you can chip the glass. With the shade off, I like to have a blanket or something soft to set everything on. Okay. Now you can see there's the rod. The shade sits on this. You can also go this way as well. Alright, and again, when you put the shade back on the rod, you want to be very careful, because going through the center, if you hit the glass, you can chip it. And again, don't over tighten the finial, because you can crack the glass if you over tighten. Alright, so to change the interior bulbs, this is a little more complex. You're going to unscrew this piece. So you're going to unscrew the top. Show you what that looks like. So unscrew here. You can see the threads there. So that assembly comes off completely. And I always like to lay things out in the order it came off. That way I don't forget which way to put it back together. Okay. And you can see inside there's two wire nuts in here. Make sure the lamp's unplugged so it's not getting any power. You're going to pull these two out. Okay. And obviously one, keep the whites together, the blacks together, and we're going to take those wire nuts off. Alright, so you're left with that. Then what we're going to do is we need these two brown wires have to come loose. So we can unscrew the light fixture, and then that's just going to pull off. So there's what you're left with there, and we'll set that aside. Then you're going to unscrew this. There's a little piece here. We'll add that to our list. Then these slide right off. The cover slides off. And one more. It slides off. Now we can take the glass lamp base and it will lift up off the rod. Be very careful when you're doing this. And voila! You have the internals where you can access your internal bulbs and change them out when needed. Alright, we're going to go over reassembly of the Lotton lamp. First, I want to start with these are the bulbs we recommend for the Lotton lamps. LEDs. These would be for the internal. And these are the bulbs for the lamp shade. Now we do have two options that we use depending on the color of the lamp. There's a soft white, which is a warmer at 2700K, or you have the daylights at the 5000K. These are going to be a brighter, cooler light, and these are going to be a warmer light. Okay, so let's reassembly of the lamp. It's very straightforward. One, I have a straw here. This makes it much easier to feed the wire through the lamp base. So I'll take this straw and basically feed the wires through it like that. So then I can put the lamp base on. Just so you can see what that looks like. So you can see I've fed those wires through the straw, and that makes it much easier to put the base back together. Now again, you want to be extremely careful once you get to that metal rod not to hit the glass, because you can chip it or crack it. Alright, once you have the globe back on, you're going to start with reassembly of all the individual pieces. So the first washer will go down. The next washer. And then we have the threaded lock washer that goes on top of all this. Alright. So this is what you should have now. Alright. Then I'm going to take the light fixture. You're going to feed the brown wires through here. Alright. And you're going to twist. Tighten this down. Remove your straw. Not too tight. Again, we don't need to crank anything down. It's just hand tightened. Okay. Then you're going to take your brown wires. One is going to go to black. One is going to go to white. And we're going to put the wire nuts back on. Alright, so this is what we're left with here. And I always like to give the brown wires a little tug. If you hold on to the wire nut and tug with the other finger, just to make sure it's all snug and not loose and it won't come apart on you. You're going to take these and just stuff them back down in there. Alright. Then take the top and it threads back on. Alright, that's what we have now. Take this. Alright, now putting on the globe, the shade, again, you have to be very careful. You don't want to hit the metal rod on any of the edges of the glass here, so you have to feed it as best you can right through there carefully. So I like to do this very slowly. Make sure you have it lined up. Alright, and there we go. Then you can take the finial, screw it back on. Again, you don't want to do it too tight. Don't crank down on it. It just needs to be hand tight. Just snug down. And that is it. Then we can go ahead and plug it in. And test that all our lights are working.